You read that title correctly. This is an actual video essay on the dystopian world of Splatoon, or specifically, the measures taken in order to uphold such a society while still keeping their people seemingly happy. The world of Splatoon is a dystopia. It's a society taken off the backs of other intelligent beings that, despite it being known to many that they are the literal brainwashed results of a more upfront dictatorship, no one seems to care or even acknowledge, even to the point that when given a chance to acknowledge the subspecies to the public, one of the two figureheads of the Splatoon world chooses to derail the topic of the integration of the members of the new species by saying they are just a weird hairstyle fad, a reference to how the key difference between an Inkling and an Octoling is their hair. The Inkopolis Utopia is left as a paradise to the Warrior Society, with its citizens too distracted to realize the horrors that lie just beyond their media-soaked horizon. The focus of the horrors I mentioned is the idea that the Inkling world is already doomed. In the Splatoon lore, the cause, decline, and eventual demise of humans were the rising tides due to the change in climate, followed by an anonymous nuke strike at the South Pole which finished off the remaining humans. The rising tides are still a prevalent force in the current Splatoon world, being the cause of turf wars such as the Great Turf War, which is when the segregation between Inklings and Octolings began. What really caps off this historic parallel is that in Splatoon 1 you had access to the special move the Ink Strike, where you essentially drop a nuke on your enemies. However, in the jump to Splatoon 2, the use of the Ink Strike has been outlawed. The Sunken Scroll that mentions this detail credits it to the powers that be, and doesn't cite a particular reason, as it seems either the writer of the Sunken Scroll didn't know, or didn't include it as if to not cause a panic. The only real reason why the anonymous ruling entities would have banned such a beloved weapon was out of fear of speeding up the flooding process, as a powerful dedicated strike had done before. The inhabitants of the Splatoon world are kept from pondering their imminent demise by exploring the war-hungry nature of the Inklings through fighting off a predatory race and stealing their young, disguising it as a hip activity for young folk to do with their friends, rather than the defensive measure it truly is. Aside from this, mock turf wars are carried out and are advertised as the focal point of this society, to the point where the entire economy is based off of them. In an attempt to minimize panic, they have given the people a duo of charismatic figureheads to follow, someone they can relate to, and if one holds an opinion the individual cannot latch onto, then the individual can choose the other. In doing so on an individual level, the citizens of the Splatoon world are given the illusion of having a choice, when really they are simply fighting a useless war that will have implications to turn an opinion into law, or alter scientific consensus based on the results of this social Darwinist take on direct democracy. Anything from whether cake or ice cream is better, to scientific facts such as whether the chicken or egg came first, can all be legally altered based on these pseudo-wars where each citizen must choose to fight under their given waifu and ideal. I declare this under the illusion of choice to reference how regardless of what is chosen, the war is still carried out and the mysterious entities that pull the strings behind the Inkling Society further their gain. Regardless of which side you fight for, the rivalry becomes the point of focus. By keeping the people divided amongst themselves, they are unable to work with one another and exchange ideas that could change society. From an ideological standpoint, the turf wars have kept the Inkling Society stagnant and distracted while the world around them slowly decays. It is a true subversion to the popular phrase, "war never changes, man does," as those who wage war are incapable of change outside of what clothes they have proprietary ownership over. Keeping the people ignorant is not a unique concept to a utopia or dystopia, but in the way it's handled allows the people of Inkopolis to live their lives worry-free and continue the status quo until outside forces put a slow or a sudden end to it. No one acknowledges the torment the Octarian people undergo. No one acknowledges that a known method to reverse the brainwashing done to the Octarians is as simple as playing a popular song. No one acknowledges that an Octoling saved the Inkling species from decimation. Heck, when the war veteran Captain Cuttlefish tries telling people that Octarians have taken their main source of power, he is dubbed crazy by the masses, just so they can keep up their status quo. In all honesty, I can't blame them. How can one acknowledge the horrific events transpiring when their own language has evolved down to a bit more than 45 terms, making it a near parallel to the concept of 1984's Newspeak, which eliminated the ability to convey thoughts down to 200 words. I know the counter-argument to this observation is that we see more than 45 to 200 words in the written dialogue of Splatoon 1 and 2, but that isn't their Inkling. That is Inkling translated and localized. You can still convey quite a bit with a reduced pool of terms. It's kind of like taking a phrase and then adding a comma in it to change its meaning. However, it's no substitute for reducing the pool of methods to express ideas. The Inklings have their utopia built off of suppressing Octarians to the underground, where they toil and suffer through their energy shortages and subpar music. The worst part of it all is that in doing so, and having their paradise in this ink-soaked battlefield, they are unaware that their paradise is in fact a dystopia.